Welcome, welcome, welcome into another day and another lesson in a course in miracles. Today we are on lesson 119. We are in the third review and we are going to be reviewing lessons 107, Truth Will Correct All Errors in My Mind, and lesson 108, To Give and to Receive Are One in Truth. And yesterday we were on lesson 118. And 118 went over God's peace and joy are mine. And then let me be still and listen to the truth. Let me be still and listen to the truth. God's peace and joy are mine. So before we get into what lesson 119 has for us today, let's take a minute or two to just be here now. Closing your eyes or settling your gaze. And just bringing attention to your breath. As you begin to take some deeper and deeper breaths in, allowing everything else in the outside world to slow down or to fade away. As you bring your full attention to your breath, allowing ourselves to be still and listen to the truth. Three more breaths here, letting yourself step back, allowing your mind to be entrusted to give you any truth you might need in this moment. As you're finishing up, allowing whatever wanted to come forth to come forth. Let's get into this lesson 119 as you bring your attention back to the space. So speaking of being still and listening to the truth, how are we going to know we are listening to the truth? Well, I feel like the next lesson is a really good answer to that, because the truth will correct all errors in our minds. We are mistaken when we think we can be hurt in any way. We are God's creation whose self rests safely in the mind of God. So we're going to feel safe. We're going to have all the errors corrected. That's how we're going to know we've connected to the truth. And then to give and to receive are one in truth. So we will forgive all things today that we may learn how to accept the truth in us and come to recognize our sinlessness, our innocence is another way of saying that. So as for this review, it is 5 minutes as early as you can into the day, and as well as right before you go to bed or the hour before you go to bed. And you can do more time if you prefer. And then on every hour is being with the first lesson throughout the day. Truth will correct all errors in my mind. And on the half hour, the second lesson. To give and to receive are one in truth. And so let's get into our 5-minute practice. I'm going to do, if you want to listen to the whole intro in totality, I'll review some of it after our practice. But if you want to listen to it in totality, that's over on lesson 111. So let's get into it, and I will read the first one, an I and me statement. So as we're into the mindfulness meditation practice, you can repeat it to yourself after me and the I and me statements. And then about halfway through, we'll go over the second lesson so we can sit with both. Let's get started. Truth will correct all errors in my mind. I am mistaken when I think I can be hurt in any way. I am God's creation whose self rests safely in the mind of God. To give and to receive are one in truth. I will forgive all things today, that I may learn how to accept the truth in me and come to recognize my sinlessness. beautiful practice period. And as a quick reminder back from the introduction to this review period, that's where I want to find, there's been this section that I've been looking for. I mean, one of the big things is, as we're going over these ideas, begin to think about them and then letting our minds relate them to our needs, to our seeming problems and all of our concerns. We want to place these ideas within our minds and let our mind use them as it chooses. And we want to give faith that our mind will use them wisely, being helped in the decisions by the one who gave these thoughts to us. And what can we trust but what is in our mind? Have faith in these reviews. The means the Holy Spirit uses will not fail. The wisdom of our minds is going to come to our assistance. So we want to give direction at the outset, which is what we're doing, and then lean back in quiet faith and let the mind employ the thoughts that we gave, which is truth will correct all errors in my mind, and to give and to receive are one in truth. They were given to us for it to use in perfect trust, in perfect confidence that we will use them well. In perfect faith that we would see their message and use them for ourselves, offer them to the mind in the same trust, the same confidence, the same faith that will not fail. Beautiful. And then just the last thing I always like to do is let's try not to forget, not to confuse. Really couldn't make it happen at the hour or the half hour with just unwillingness. And we went over this yesterday, but if we recognize we've been skipping due to unwillingness, it's just about remembering what the goal is and realizing that we probably ended up establishing some other substitute goals. And I love what that gave you nothing, that give you nothing. And then to begin again. So on these, do not forget them not. The second chance with each of these ideas will bring such large advances that we come from these reviews with learning gains so great we will continue on more solid ground with firmer footsteps and with stronger faith. So do not forget how little you have learned. Do not forget how much you can learn now. Do not forget your Father's need of you as you review these thoughts He gave to you. Much love, and I will look forward to joining with you as we finish out our review with Lesson 120. Much love.